I'm Dale Hall, Managing Director of Research at the Society of Actuaries Research Institute, and we've put together this presentation to help highlight our Actuaries Longevity Illustrator. We're doing it from an angle that we think can be helpful for retirement planning professionals, financial planners, life insurance distributors, and life insurance agents. These are key professionals who are working with their clients every day to help advise on retirement financial security. So thanks for the opportunity to talk with you today. It's a privilege to kick off this session talking to professionals who are shaping retirement outcomes every single day. You're the ones who are sitting across from clients when uncertainty becomes personal, when your clients are asking you to turn statistics into strategy. And increasingly, those conversations include longevity risk. So let me begin with a headline, a news flash that many of your clients have likely seen. Recently, the Wall Street Journal ran an article entitled, "U.S. Life Expectancy Climbs to an All-Time High." And importantly, that headline gets attention, not just for the important societal impact of it, but also for clients who are thinking about their own personal retirement planning as well. From that article, and additionally from a report based upon data from the Center for Disease Control's National Center for Health Statistics, life expectancy at birth for the average American reached 79 years in 2024. That's up 0.6 years, over half a year from the prior year in 2023. The article notes that this increase reflects a rebound from pandemic-era declines, and progress is being made in combating the opioid crisis in the United States. It reported that life expectancy at birth rose to 81.4 years for women and 76.5 years for men. And the broader mortality picture improved as well. The age-adjusted mortality rate dropped nearly 4% from 750.5 deaths per 100,000 Americans in 2023 to just over 722 deaths per 100,000 in 2024. Heart disease, cancer, unintentional injuries remain the top 3 causes of death. Fortunately, COVID-19 is no longer among the top 10. So those are all real improvements. Those are all meaningful public health developments. And your clients, they're reading those headlines. They see life expectancy is 79. And then they come into your office, and hopefully it drives them to ask more questions about their plan for retirement. Admittedly, they are often nervous. They're looking to you to help them with their retirement security. So here's the key question. What does this newsflash of life expectancy at birth is 79 mean for a 65-year-old couple looking to you to help them plan a 25 or 30 or even longer retirement? The honest answer is not very much, because life expectancy headlines, while accurate, are not calibrated to be consistent with retirement income strategy. And that's where we need to shift the conversation. So let's go one level deeper here. There's at least 3 structural reasons why life expectancy headlines are not the right anchor for retirement planning. First, most headlines reference life expectancy at birth, at birth. But we all know retirement planning does not begin at birth. Hopefully, it begins with conversations as clients enter the workforce. But for many, it begins much closer to retirement age. You all have sat across the table from these clients. Let's be honest, when does the conversation really start? Maybe 50, maybe 55, often typically 60, 65, maybe even a few where it's the week leading up to retirement when people seriously consider the risks of retirement. But life expectancy at birth incorporates infant mortality, early life diseases, accidents in adolescence and young adulthood, all of the hazards of surviving to retirement in the first place. Once someone reaches 65, they've already cleared those decades of mortality risk, and their conditional survival outlook is different. So when a client reads life expectancy is 79, that number includes individuals who have never even reached retirement age. For someone who is already 65, remaining life expectancy, and I would say more importantly, survival probabilities to very advanced ages, they're significantly higher than that birth-based statistic really implies. So planning based upon life expectancy at birth can systematically underestimate retirement risk. Second, most reported life expectancy statistics are based on what actuaries would call period mortality. And period mortality assumes that mortality rates observed in a given year persist unchanged into the future. The assumption literally freezes the world in time. It says, hey, the mortality conditions of 2024 are also going to be the ones that apply in 2025. Oh, and also in 2030, and also in 2040. Nothing changes. It's a little bit like the movie Groundhog Day. Every morning you wake up, it's the same day, the same weather, the same song, the same events. And in period mortality, the assumption is we wake up each year and have the same force of mortality across ages that is exactly the same as it was last year. Which of course means no medical innovation, no new therapies, no advances in cardiovascular care, no new cancer treatments, no changes in disease management. We know in reality, mortality is not static. We've seen deterioration during the pandemic. We've seen rebound afterward. And over long time horizons, we've seen substantial mortality improvement driven by medical technology, public health, innovations. Now, are those improvements guaranteed? No, they're not. Are they linear? They are absolutely not. But retirement planning spans decades. If a 65-year-old retires today, their planning horizon may be 30 years or longer. Assuming mortality rates remain frozen at today's level for 3 decades is definitely a flawed assumption. Now granted, it's very analytically convenient. That's why demographers use that for period life expectancies, but it doesn't reflect the lived reality. And then there's this third and rather important point, and this one is probably the most practical for you in the audience. Life expectancy is a 50-50 proposition. By definition, it's the age at which there is a 50% probability of dying sooner and a 50% probability of living longer. Planning to life expectancy means planning to a coin flip. Half of your clients will outlive that number. Let me get practical, for a moment here. Let's pretend. Let's imagine you have a flight tomorrow morning. You're leaving on vacation, and I tell you, based upon the time that you leave for that flight, there's a 50% chance that you'll make it to the airport on time. 50%. Would you leave at the time that gives you only a coin flip chance of catching that flight? Probably not. You'd build in margin, you'd plan for traffic, you'd assume something might go wrong, and in all honesty, you'd leave earlier than that defined time. Now apply that same thinking to retirement security. If a client plans income to last only to life expectancy, they're effectively saying, I'm comfortable with the 50% chance that my money lasts as long as I do. Most clients are not comfortable with that risk once it's framed that way. They don't want a coin flip. They want success. They want to get on the plane and get to their vacation destination goal. And for couples, the math becomes even more compelling. 2 individuals, each with a 50% chance of living beyond life expectancy creates a significantly higher probability at least one of them survives well past that midpoint. So when we anchor retirement planning to a single life expectancy number, we unintentionally normalize a 50% risk tolerance. And that's not how we approach other financial risks. We don't design investment portfolios assuming a 50% success rate. We don't insure property assuming a coin flip protection strategy. We manage risk across a distribution. And that's the shift. The right question isn't, what is life expectancy? The right question is, what does the survival distribution look like? What's the probability this retirement lasts 25 years or 30 years or even longer? What's the probability that at least one spouse reaches age 95? Retirement income planning is not about predicting the midpoint. It's about managing the tail and finding guaranteed solutions. And that requires moving beyond these headlines and into more analysis and probabilities. So we know life expectancy isn't the right anchor. If our headlines are backward-looking and birth-based and period statistics, if planning to this midpoint is really planning to a coin flip, then maybe we've been using the wrong phrase altogether. Your clients don't need an age to which they expect to live. They need an age to which they should prepare to live. So let's change the concept here. The issue isn't life expectancy. The issue is life preparancy, not expectancy, preparancy. Life expectancy is a statistic, but life preparancy, it's a solution, it's a strategy. Life expectancy asks, what's the average outcome? But life preparancy asks, how long do we need this plan to hold and beyond? And what are the solutions that get me there? When a client sits down with you, they're not asking for a prediction of their date of death. They're asking whether their income will last as long as they do. They're asking for a solution that carries income to their life preparancy age and beyond. They don't need a midpoint, they need a prepared solution and income guarantees. If life expectancy at 65 is, let's say it's 85, that doesn't mean planning to 85 is prudent, because by definition, half of all retirees will live longer than that. So the more relevant question becomes, what age do we need to prepare for? It might be 90, it might be 92, it might be 95. For couples, it may be even longer. So life preparancy reframes the conversation. Instead of saying the average person lives to 85, you say there's a meaningful probability you live to 90 or 92 or beyond. Let's make sure your income strategy works with guarantees if that happens. Notice the shift here. You're no longer anchoring to the most likely outcome. You're anchoring to a responsible outcome. That's how we approach risk everywhere else. We don't leave for the airport to make the flight 50% of the time. We don't build bridges to withstand the average load. We build them to withstand stress. We don't insure property based on the most likely claim. We insure against the most adverse one. And retirement income planning should be no different. And here's what's powerful for this audience in particular. Life preparancy is not fear-based, it's actually confidence-based. Like, living longer is amazing news. The objective here isn't to limit longevity. The objective is to ensure that longevity is financially sustainable. And so when you introduce the idea of life preparancy to clients, you definitely elevate that conversation. You move from prediction to preparation. You move from these headlines to understanding the possibilities. You move from a single age to a range and a distribution of possibilities. Clients don't need to know the exact age they might die. They need to know the age to which their income plan can succeed and beyond. That's life preparancy. And once you frame the conversation that way, the natural next question becomes, well, how do we determine the age to prepare for? How do we move from a concept to a quantified probability? Because preparation really requires numbers. Preparation requires understanding the risk. Preparation definitely requires more than a headline. And this is where a tool becomes helpful. There's a free educational resource called the Actuaries Longevity Illustrator. It's created and sponsored jointly by the SOA Research Institute of the Society of Actuaries and the American Academy of Actuaries. And it's available to the public at www.longevityillustrator.org. Now, here's why this matters for this audience. The purpose of the tool is educational. And it's not product driven. It's not tied to any singular or specific insurance product, but it can help affirm responsible planning and lifetime income solutions. It exists to provide objective, research-based insights into longevity risk. And that objectivity is powerful in a client conversation. So here's how it works. You enter a few basic data points: age, sex, health status, smoking history, and if applicable, information about a spouse or a partner. And in just moments, the tool illustrates and visualizes probabilities. Not a single life expectancy number, but a range, a distribution of possibilities. It shows the probability of living to age 85, to age 90, to age 95, and beyond. For couples, it shows the probability that at least one spouse is still alive at those ages. And that's often the moment that the conversation shifts, because when clients see that there may be a very meaningful probability that one of them is alive at 92 or 95 or even later, the abstract concept of longevity becomes very concrete. The thing isn't about telling a client, you'll live to 88. It's about showing them there's a 35% chance that one of you is alive at 95. Let's prepare for that. That's life preparancy in action. Recently, the Wall Street Journal highlighted the tool in an article by Ann Turgeson. She wrote, "The calculator I like most, the Society of Actuaries Longevity Illustrator, gave me probabilities of reaching many future ages, including life expectancy, the age at which a person has equal odds of dying sooner or later." She also noted that the group behind it has no products or services to sell, and that matters because when you use a tool that's independent and objective and research-based, the conversation feels different. You're not presenting a sales illustration, you're helping clients understand risk. And that positions you not as a salesperson, but as a strategist, someone who's bringing solutions. One of the great things I like about the Actuaries Longevity Illustrator is that it intentionally does not provide financial advice, it does not recommend products. What it does is illuminate one of the most important variables in retirement planning, and that is longevity risk. And once that risk is framed properly, once the distribution is understood, a well-formed strategy can follow. And that strategy can involve a lot of financial tools, lifetime income solutions with annuities, with guarantees, or systematic withdrawals, asset allocation, or even a set of hybrid approaches. But it should be built on a realistic understanding of survival probabilities. That, in my mind, is the bridge from life expectancy to life preparancy to risk-based planning. And when you use a tool like this and encourage that, you elevate the discussion. You move away from this headline of the average American lives to a certain age, and you move towards, hey, here's the probability in your real world that your retirement lasts 30 or more years. So let's build accordingly. That's a more disciplined conversation. It's also a more differentiated one because many advisors will still anchor to a single number. But when you anchor to a distribution, a range of possibilities, and demonstrate how being prepared, how offering lifetime income solutions, about having a plan and not leaving everything to chance, that builds trust. So if the goal is life preparancy, preparing clients for the full range of possible longevity outcomes, then the conversation has to start with understanding the risks. And that's exactly what this tool helps facilitate. So let me end here by pulling this all together and maybe also adding some perspective. We all know that headlines will continue to change. Life expectancies will change in the future. New data will be released. New reports will always be trending. But the responsibility that we collectively have to offer does not change. Your clients don't need averages, they need preparation. They don't need expectancy, they need preparedness, preparancy, they need preparation. Retirement income planning is not about predicting a date. It's about responsibly preparing for uncertainty. It's about helping clients walk into a 25 or 30 year or more retirement with guarantees, with confidence, with not guessing. Anyone can quote life expectancy, anyone can repeat that headline, but not everyone can translate longevity risk into preparation. And that's what professionals do. That's where actually the combined strength of our professions really matters. Actuaries dedicate their careers to studying risk, to measuring it in lots of different ways, to understanding distributions, understanding tail risk, understanding mortality improvement, and lots of different longevity dynamics. We as actuaries operate under a code of professional conduct and rigorous professional standards that define our public responsibility. Our obligation is not to a product, it's not to a headline, but to the public to provide objective, disciplined, research-based insight into risks. Financial planners, insurance professionals, and distributors, similarly, you all operate under professional standards and fiduciary responsibilities. You take that understanding of risk and bring it to life. You sit across the table from families. And importantly, you translate understanding these risks into solutions and strategies. You convert uncertainty into solutions. You implement these solutions, lifetime income strategies, different guarantees, different asset approaches that turn analysis into real-world retirement security. One profession here quantifies the risk, the other profession operationalizes it. And when those two work together, something very powerful happens. Conversations move beyond, what is my life expectancy, towards, what's the probability that this retirement lasts 30 years, and how do we build an income strategy, income guarantees that withstand that probability? How do we ensure that living longer remains good news? That collaboration matters because retirement planning is one of the few financial decisions where the horizon is truly unknowable. Markets will fluctuate. Interest rates, for sure, they'll go up, they'll go down. Policies will always continue to shift. But longevity risk is unique. You don't get to adjust it after the fact and watching it happen in the rearview mirror. If a client lives longer than expecting, the plan has to hold. And that's why professional standards matter. That's why objective research matters. And that's why disciplined, probability-based conversations also matter. When actuarial science informs those types of planning strategies, and planning professionals elevate that into amazing client conversations beyond strategies and headlines. And we just don't do the math, we work together. We improve resilience, we improve confidence, we improve better outcomes. And we strengthen retirement security, really not just for individual households, but for communities surrounding us, and to be honest, for even the broader economy around us, because financially secure retirees contribute stability. They support families. They reduce stress on public systems. They create intergenerational confidence. Life expectancy is merely a statistic. Life preparancy is a strategy, and a strategy that's grounded in research, delivered with integrity, implemented with care, and really that's what defines a profession. When actuaries and financial professionals align around that idea, around that mission, we don't leave retirement to chance. We prepare for it. We build for it. Thank you very much for the work that you do every day with your clients, and thank you for the opportunity to advance retirement security together.